Good Monday, traders, and welcome again to the Forex Boat Trading Academy. I hope you had a great weekend, but it's time to get back to work since Forex market is open. And in today's video, we will be looking at one of the top major currency pairs, which is pound versus the United States dollar. Previously, we already had the euro dollar, and today will be the pound dollar. And as you can see, we also have the Australian versus dollar and dollar versus the Canadian dollar. So all these majors emphasizing the potential strength of the United States dollar. Then the pound versus dollar is not an exception. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it right away. This way you will support the channel, and we will obviously try to improve and make more videos for you, educational trade examples as well as daily analysis. Time to get started with the price action. All in all, this is the daily time frame where we can see that price is rising. Basically, there was a bottom printed at 1.14, almost hit psychological support on March 20th. And then price started to rise. So this is an uptrend, but we need to take into consideration the previously made high, which is at 1.3511. An important thing is it hasn't been broken, and we clearly see the potential double top at this price area, which has been rejected. More importantly, I have used fibs to this last correction wave to the downside, where we see a clean rejection of 78.6 fibs at 133.10. So very clean rejection. Along with it, there is an average price uptrend trend line. I have used this low right there, and I have connected it with this resistance level because it's also important. We will talk about it in a second. So I have connected it with the resistance, and we can see that the trend line also has been rejected. In regards to the moving averages, clearly there is some uncertainty because price is going up, down, above and below the moving averages, although on the lower time frame it printing higher highs and higher lows. But nonetheless, we had this rejection of the resistance, which might imply that sellers are defending this level strongly, and it means that as long as price remains below, there is a potential for the downside correction. Of course, if there will be a break to the upside, it will most likely validate the uptrend continuation and potentially retest of this high. But while it stays below, we should expect move to the downside, at least some sort of pullback or correction. But considering it's a daily time frame, it could be quite a big move. So what could be the support to watch? I have applied another fibs to this last wave to the downside where price bottomed out, and what we have is 78.6 fibs. This is the point which has been rejected at this level, and this is the point that I have used to draw my average price uptrend trend line. This is also the point where price could be correcting to the downside, and this is 128.16. Considering that the current price is 132 almost, the potential downside move becomes 370 pips. That's quite a big move for the pound versus dollar. Another thing is the simple uptrend trend line. You can see I have connected two lows, and what we have is no bounce or no rejection or no breakout, nothing. Price didn't even test it. And I think that there will be retest of the trend line, and if broken, potentially price will be declining towards 128.13 support. Let's go to the hourly chart, and here yet again we're looking at the moving averages. There was this top, there was this break to the downside below both moving averages. These are 50 simple and 50 exponential, and then I have used this corrective move to the upside after the breakout. We can see there was no clear breakout above this resistance. If we move to the higher time frames, for example 4-hour chart, no break above, just spike. So this resistance remains valid, and it should play a very important role, especially this high also should be watched. I would not expect price to close above this level, especially on the 4-hour and daily time frame, because if it will, that will invalidate this Fibonacci that I have used on the hourly chart. And what it gives us, this fibs, is 1127.2 retracement level, which exactly corresponds to 78.6 Fibs that we had here applied to this last wave to the downside. So these two levels correspond to each other. Besides, this shows us that previously there was a support. There was a support right there, then fast breakout, and then we had this resistance. And you can see that it hasn't been acting as the support once again. So potentially this could be such a move where the price will be testing this support and maybe then will continue the long-term uptrend, which is not confirmed yet in my opinion, because this high hasn't been broken. So consider it as a very wide consolidation, which is ongoing. I don't see a clear uptrend because of this high hasn't been broken. Price didn't even touch it, didn't even spike above. So yeah, it remains kind of range trading, or at least there should be a strong pullback to the downside. So yeah, about 370 pips move to the downside I would expect, but to watch this high of today, which is 132.42, and especially the key resistance remains at 133.11. So break above this high, we don't even need to close above. I'd say if price will go above, it will invalidate the bearish scenario, and I think it will be going up. But until this point, I think it is a downtrend or the correction to the downside. Now it's time to move back to previously made analysis, starting Australian dollar on the daily time frame. Well, here we had entered a new cycle. As you can see, I was waiting for this day today, and it could be either the upside cycle or the downside. Most likely it will be down based on other analysis that I had. So this is a long-term uptrend. As long as price hold this low, this will remain an uptrend on the daily time frame, but on the low time frame still expecting the correction. So let's have a look at the 4-hour chart. This is Australian versus dollar 4-hour chart. Now the key resistance, obviously 173.40. As long as price below, I would expect the corrective move to the downside. Still valid, still do expect it. Nothing has changed. But as soon as we break to the upside above this high, it will become an uptrend or continuation of the long-term uptrend on the Australian versus dollar. So for now, seems like attractive price for sellers, especially considering that it's quite high, very close to this key resistance area. So yeah, still valid, still expecting the downtrend. Moving on to other dollar pairs, which is dollar Canadian. And on this chart, we see the expectancy is to the upside. The next Fibonacci cycle starts tomorrow, and what might happen is that the price will consolidate, maybe corrective slightly lower, but then we can see that this resistance became the support and it could be retested potentially, but all in all this is the strong support level 1.3050. Maybe a retest of this level is possible, and only then price will continue moving up, maybe something like that. I'm not sure how far it will correct, but I guess it will be similar to this scenario. Maybe it will go up then down. So all in all, expecting the trend to start tomorrow, not today. There should be still consolidation up until this point. If we just go to the forward chart, we can see that the next cycle will be on the 26th. And this is another 10 days, which is about 6 or something like that trading days. It should be something similar. Besides, we can see the moving average is being rejected, acting as the support. And yeah, should be watched. This area is very interesting for buyers, I'd say. And this is what I would expect from the dollar versus Canadian dollar. Next one is the euro versus dollar. And on this chart, we had this double bearish divergence. Price retested the resistance at 1.1919, as has been discussed already. So yeah, as long as this resistance holds, I think this will be a downtrend, which should take approximately 2 weeks. So the sentiment is still bearish. Moving on to the Japanese yen currency pairs, these are the only ones we're left with. Canadian Japanese yen, well, yeah, correction has been expected and it occurred. Now, maybe some more consolidation before the price will finally test the support, the key support at 78.90 level. But yeah, still downtrend, still valid. Maybe in the worst case scenario, we will go towards the trend line, which is the downtrend trend line of the extended descending channel, maybe. So this could be something like that, also possible. although at the same time we might see non-stop move towards our support, which be like that. So these are the scenarios for the Canadian versus Japanese yen. Next is Australian Japanese yen, and here we retested the resistance, failed to break to the upside. So yeah, definitely this is a downtrend that I would expect, and probably it will not be this cycle, but it actually will be next cycle. So yeah, still valid and still expecting a strong move to the downside, along with the Australian versus dollar, which we analyzed already last week. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the analysis for the pound versus the dollar and this huge move, huge downside potential. And if you did, of course, submit your like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, where we post these videos every single day, along with the educational videos and live trade examples. Thank you all for watching. I will see you tomorrow.